We all have 24 hours in the day. Some people make more of that time than others. Have you ever wondered what the day in the life of a tech startup CEO looks like? What about the day in the life of some of the world's most successful tech CEOs? They have built empires like Meta, Amazon, Google, and Apple, and they've shaped the future of humanity with their innovations. But how do they do it? And what does a typical day look like for these tech moguls? Only by understanding the behaviors and routines of the world's leading tech founders can we adapt to bring perspective to our own practices. Because after all, running billion-dollar and even trillion-dollar companies must require a certain discipline, a type of hack, given the burden on time must be absolutely immense. I've researched the daily routines and behaviors of tech's most successful founders to understand how they run their days. I've dug deep into understanding how these leaders plan and think about their day, and how they execute to make the most out of every single day. I'll also show you the one underlying trait that underpins being able to have a successful day that the world's top tech CEOs all swear by. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a curious observer, or a fan of these tech icons, you will find this video fascinating and informative. So let's get started. He or she who owns the morning owns the day, or so the saying goes. And there's a lot that gets talked about regarding the morning routines of successful people. But how much of it is true, and how much of it is necessary to be successful? The truth is that the morning routines of the most successful tech founders vary quite a bit. These guys don't just prepare for the day's challenges, but they also create a balance and focus that guides them throughout the day. Whereas a Tim Cook will routinely get up at 3:45 a.m. every morning, others like Jeff Bezos, Sundar Pichai, or Mark Zuckerberg typically won't get up until after 6:30. When you wake up and sleep is all heavily dependent on your circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythms are the physical, mental, and behavioral changes a person experiences over a 24-hour cycle. Light and dark have the biggest influence on circadian rhythms, but factors such as food intake, stress, physical activity, social environment, and temperature can also affect them. So you can see how it's not realistic to align your own timing of sleep to that of others because there are so many variables. What's important is working with your circadian rhythm so you can find the sleep pattern that works best for you. But what do these tech visionaries do after they've got up that gives them a head start? Well, it involves a combination of exercise, planning, and reading. For Apple CEO Tim Cook, the first thing he does is to go through his emails, and he can have between 700 to 800 emails that he tries to get through every day when he wakes up. This is then followed by exercise, which is typically strength training with a personal trainer. Exercise also features heavily for Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Meta. In terms of physical exercise, Zuck has replaced running about 3 times a week with jiu-jitsu and MMA training sessions every week. In an interview with Joe Rogan, he said that he used to run a lot, but the problem with running is you can end up thinking a lot. Instead, he started asking himself, what's the thing that's both super engaging physically, but also intellectually, where you can't afford to focus on something else? And he concluded that MMA is the perfect thing, because if you stop paying attention for 1 second, you're going to end up on the bottom. There are many mental health benefits of exercise, and working out first thing helps you experience those benefits right away. Exercise leads to the secretion of neurotransmitters that promote mental clarity and an improved attention span during the day. You'll immediately feel a sense of accomplishment, as well as being rejuvenated and recharged. And that sense of accomplishment will lead you to have a healthier day overall. Exercising in the morning helps you develop a healthier mindset, and that will encourage you to make better decisions with what you eat during the day. But exercise also has the effect of boosting your metabolism, and that's important because the benefit of increasing your metabolism is that it will provide you with more energy, help in weight loss, and help you experience quality sleep while burning more calories at bedtime. Although some of these tech CEOs squeeze in exercise at the beginning of the day, exercise is important in improving sleep at the end of the day. But in contrast, the morning routines of Sundar Pichai and Jeff Bezos are quite relaxed. Sundar stated that I'm not a morning person, so I need time with my paper and my tea to wake up and kind of get going. He likes to read a hard copy of the Wall Street Journal, but he reads the online version of the New York Times. Bezos is known to putter around the house in the morning. Putter, to be busy or occupy oneself in a leisurely, casual, or ineffective manner. Bezos will brew some coffee, read the newspapers, and generally not start work. And Bezos could be onto something here. Taking time to putter, cook, or clean may be useful for creativity, according to a study by the University of California, Santa Barbara. Spending time on mindless tasks allows the mind to wander and be more creative, researchers have found. Despite how they start the day, the one commonality is a good breakfast for all the CEOs. A healthy breakfast is essential for brain and body, giving them the fuel they need for the long and demanding day ahead. These CEOs choose foods that are nutritious and energizing, whether it's a protein-rich meal or a lighter plant-based option. Sundar's breakfast, for example, is a very simple meal. Usually it's an omelette. Then he drinks a cup of tea. In an interview recently, Pichai had mentioned that his morning routine stuck with him since his formative years growing up in India, and this also includes drinking chai or tea. All these leaders will avoid anything that might make them feel sluggish or tired. But how do they take how they start their day into the workday? The role of a tech CEO requires a combination of visionary leadership, strategic decision-making, and relentless execution. Meetings are a vital part of the CEO's day. Zuckerberg has a specific rule for all meetings that Meta, and he says, for every hour of meeting that I have, the team sends out the pre-reads in advance. I want to have at least an hour to read the materials and think about it. And then I want to have at least an hour to follow up with different people after the meeting. There's a clear approach that Bezos also adopts to meetings. His most productive time has been between 10 a.m. and midday, a 2-hour-long period during which he tackles the day's priority meetings and paperwork. What sits at the heart of Bezos' approach is the fact that he believes business leaders need to make a few high-quality decisions per day instead of hundreds of low-quality decisions providing lackluster outcomes. The first meetings of the day are the ones that require the most brain power. And Bezos has said, I like to do my high IQ meetings before lunch. Like anything that's going to be really mentally challenging, that's a 10 a.m. meeting. And that's an interesting trait, as according to a study by biologist Christoph Randler, people whose performance peaks in the morning are better positioned for career success because they're more proactive than people who are at their best in the evening. Tim Cook has an entirely different approach. Cook has been known to have marathon meetings during the day that can last up to 5 to 6 hours, which are the weekly operational meetings. He divides the day spending time with product, marketing, or the executive team, ensuring he covers the key bases across his business. But his focus is always on handling the issues of the day, or then refocusing on future stuff. In contrast, Sundar's approach to the workday is more flexible. Sundar is always ready for meetings. He doesn't need a special time or a place for his meetings. Sometimes he discusses things on the go. He likes to discuss important issues as soon as possible, because then he can address the issues and take action quickly. And in those meetings, Pichai is a great listener. He keeps quiet and lets everyone express their ideas. After listening to each and every comment, he analyzes them, and only then does he give his opinion. This approach gives his teams who are deep in solving complex problems the ability to articulate their thoughts clearly, and it gives Sundar an opportunity to objectively consider and then challenge any concepts. But Sundar also uses his environment to heighten his focus. The CEO of Google is a minimalist, and his office at Google HQ is a working place that is very clean and simple. It helps him to focus his mind only on the most important things. But how do these industry changes then transition to the final part of their day? Getting out of the office at a good time is a rule that many tech leaders try to follow, knowing that long hours are not always equal productivity or success. Perhaps the only anomaly to this is Tim Cook, who has been described as being the first in the office and the last to leave consistently. For the others though, it's a different story. Zuckerberg revealed that he only spends 50 to 60 hours a week actually working, a very reasonable number for a tech CEO of one of the biggest companies in the world. But as he himself says, if you count all the time I'm focused on our mission, that's basically my whole life. Zuck also prioritizes sleep and makes sure that he gets a proper 8 hours of sleep to recharge himself and prepare for the next day's challenges. Sundar is also a fan of trying to demarcate work life from home life. He has stated that he rarely brings work home and that he is keen to try to keep work and his home life separate. Bezos has an interesting approach to how he finishes work for the day and how he thinks about recharge. Bezos tries to avoid making decisions later in the day. He has said that by 5 p.m, I'm like, I can't think about this today. Let's try that again tomorrow at 10 a.m. He says, think about it. As a senior executive, what do you really get paid to do? As a senior executive, You get paid to make a small number of high-quality decisions. Your job is not to make thousands of decisions every day. The way he sees it, if you don't take care of yourself, the quality of those decisions might be lower because you're tired or grouchy or any number of things. As such, he's a big believer in having an early night, and he's usually in bed by 10:30. But what does this all mean for you and I? Well, the one thing that is critical, and is what I alluded to at the outset, is the one trait all these guys have got right. That should be the starting point for you to think about how to optimize your day. And that is having a clear mission, objective, or goal that you're aiming towards. Only by having this clear will you be able to develop and stick to a daily routine that moves you forward inches at a time towards achieving that goal. For Zuck at Meta, it's about giving people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. Cook at Apple is focused on creating products that enrich people's daily lives. Sundar at Google is focused on continuing to organize the world's information and making it universally accessible and useful, as well as delivering the world's most advanced, safe, and responsible AI. And what Bezos has built at Amazon is looking to continue to be Earth's most customer-centric company. Only when the mission is clear can the systems and routines and behaviors be put in place to support and sustain that mission. Get this right and the rest will flow naturally. What mission are you working towards? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.